according to former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, we should avoid confrontation. I tend to agree with that model. I like avoiding confrontation, but here's the problem with his assessment. He was a very questionable Secretary of State and a horrible track record when it comes to avoiding war. Just ask the average Vietnamese or Cambodian farmer. Should Henry Kissinger hang up his diplomacy cleats? Joining me now to discuss, former CIA officer, Portman Square Group chairman and CEO. He's got both titles because he's that good. Mike Baker is back.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Baker.
Well, thank you very much. And I didn't know we could request songs. I didn't know Dagan was able to do. Maybe, next time I'll send you a note.
Boop, 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 boop. Yep, for sure. Consider it done.
Yeah. Cool.
So is he off? He talks about, the Nixonian flexibility in terms of where China was and opening the door to diplomacy. But we're in a vastly different place now, aren't we, in terms of where we are, where they are, where their economy is, and the shenanigans that they're pulling all over the world.
Yeah, we are, and you could also argue, we aren't. Things don't seem to change much, and by that I mean, look, I was in London last week, and as I always do, I try to stop by the Imperial War Museum there, which is a fascinating and brilliant museum. And I was walking through the World War I exhibit, and it talked about the famine that the war caused, and it talked about the mass migration of people that it caused, and it talked about the destruction. And you realize you're standing there reading about this in World War I while we're engaged in a massive land war between Russia and Ukraine and the U.S. and our NATO allies. And the same things are happening, the famine, the mass migration. So sometimes I get when Kissinger looks around and goes, maybe things don't change that much.
Yeah.
But, I think the bigger question is a lot of people probably looked at his comments and said, hey, Kissinger is still alive?
He is 99 years old, and I was very impressed to hear that he's still writing, he's still consulting, which I think is wonderful, and it also goes to show that it's not about age, it's about competency. But are his prescriptions necessary right now? Is he out of step with the current administration, or should we just appease China and open up everything to them, let them steal our intellectual property, and pretend it's a free market economy, although it's state-run?
Yeah, I vote for not that. But I think what he's doing, if you strip away all the big words that he used in his latest comments, I think what he's really saying is you need a line of communication. And I think he's worried that perhaps with the increased provocation between the U.S. and China, the increased aggression that we've seen from China. Look, it's their problem. It's their fault. I'm not saying it's not us. It's Xi and his regime are engaged in all sorts of actions that have created this tension between the U.S., our allies, and China. But I think what Kissinger is saying is you need to have a line of communication that prevents some sort of catastrophic buildup and then a confrontation that we can't back out of. So I don't disagree with that, but I do disagree with the concept that in some fashion we should allow Xi and his regime to just get away unscathed. We need to point out their abuses. We need to talk about how they squash democracy in Hong Kong. We need to talk about what they've done with the Uyghurs. We need to talk about the fact there's no rule of law in China. And certainly no civil liberties to speak of.
Oh no,
so
they got lockdown. People were throwing themselves out of apartment buildings because they were starving to death because of the most recent COVID lockdowns.
Yeah, and then you've got this entire other issue, which is their constant, over the years, and it still goes on, their constant theft of intellectual property in their desire to skip the research and development phase and just, continue a march to where they believe they should be, which is the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hegemony. Hegemony. Yeah.
Yes, that's the word. That's the billion-dollar word. I think Kissinger still has a great arousal for Margaret Thatcher, which she is featured in his most recent book, which we're all going to rush. Yeah, that's right. Mike Baker, thank you so much.
A lot of us are still jonesing for Thatcher.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's a great band, Jonesing for Thatcher. Saw them at CBGB in 1994. Wonderful night. Mike Baker, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kennedy. Just as a sign of showing how much I respect you and admire you and what you do with the show, it's almost 3 a.m. where I am right now.
Oh, Baker. That's amazing.
I know.
He's in the Philippines. I don't know if that's true, but I will talk to you soon. Thank you, dear.